Today is going to be a different kind of video. I'm actually very excited because I've not done this kind of video before. My friends and I decided to visit an art gallery we just found in our region. I'm excited. I met a man today who is an artist. A man whose passion for art is inspiring and has been an artist all his life.
Don't touch. She forgot.
But would I hang my mom's picture, my grandma's picture in my house? You know, $1,000. That's like. Welcome to Ambiance Gallery. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is going to be a different kind of video. Okay, we're going to art gallery. So yeah, come with me. My friends and I decided to visit an art gallery we just found in our region. To me as a kid, art was about drawing with a pencil and a crayon. Never knew there could be anything deep about it than just fun. I'm actually very excited because I've not done this kind of video before, and I'm really excited to show you guys about art and everything about art, because I heard that art is boring, and I'm here to convince you and myself that art is not boring. So come with me. I met a man today who is an artist. A man whose passion for art is inspiring and has been an artist all his life. Meet Macaulay Tonari. He owns the Macaulay Tonari Art Gallery. So welcome to Ambiance Gallery. The Mia Gallery has a nice aura, and it's in a confined space with a living room setting, which gives you an inspiration on how you can decorate your home with an art, which is a problem for a lot of people who like the idea of art in their homes. And I'm actually very excited to be here because I was not a fan of art, but right now I think I'm beginning to like art, because take a look around, you know, who doesn't like art? The man who changed my view about art with his painting and his inspiration, Mr. Macaulay Eteli. Where does he get this inspiration from? When did all this start and why? Well, one way to find out. Let's ask him.
Inspiration behind Mia Gallery.
Macaulay.
Okay. Well, the name is Macaulay Tonari Eteli. Right? Like I said earlier, I'm from both Ogbia and Nembe. My father is from Ogbia, so we gravitate to that side. My mom is from Ogbia and Nembe. That's Nembe town itself. Okay, when we were there with my dad and her, we stayed at the dispensary at Nembe, the dispensary waterfront. That's where we used to be. The old house is still there. Kind of nostalgic when I went there and I look at it and say, I almost burnt down this house. You know, playing with cotton from the cotton tree. Anyway, the sense is I consciously started my artwork at Nembe at the dispensary waterfront. Okay. That's where, as a little boy playing, right, I go to the waterfront, the water line there, the shoreline, and dug up the clay and start fashioning ornaments, you know, just being playful, creative, and that was my playtime. I avoid fighting anybody by doing creating art, and I grew up, you know, that way, drawing and all that stuff. Like you see in my bio, clean the dirt and take the stick and draw, and grew up further to pencil and paper. And then when I started school at St. Luke's School in Nembe, that's where I started my academic education. And I think it was Mingiten's daughter who was his teacher. I can't remember her name, light-skinned lady. And she put a stool, put a cup on top of the stool. He said, we're going to draw. I think that's the only art lesson I've had in my life. And I've been doing this since then. And then went to secondary school, still continued with acting, debating society and all that stuff. And left to Sokoto for HSC program. Came back because they shut the schools down due to academic rioting, you know, or demonstrations. So all the universities were shut down. I think it depends on the age group. Let me say, for the younger people, they gravitate to Rapture.
Really? Because like when I entered, it was this one that caught my eye.
Okay, that one is boom because of the boldness. But when it comes to emotional connectivity, they come in and say, what is this? What is this? Yeah, what it is, these are statues because I do carvings as well. At some point I was carving. And here we're talking about romance, rapture. And it's so intense that they're fusing into each other. If you don't get the picture, the guy in the black singlet, right? And the lady is in the white. But they fuse halfway, right? And down here, of course, you can tell the lady from the guy. And just in my own comic way, I said, huh? Is this really true? So that's the simplicity of it. But in Canada, Tropical Woman is the most in demand of my paintings. I painted that back in 1997, I believe. And then I published, this is a print.
Okay.
The original painting I sold long ago. The original painting was on canvas. So we reproduced it because of the demand for tropical. I printed a limited edition series of 700 copies.
Wow.
And I think I've sold about 400, 350 to 400. And yeah, she's a very powerful, how do you call it?
So what's the inspiration behind it?
The inspiration behind that was going to a wedding. I was invited to a wedding. A friend's daughter was getting married, and went to the church, and then they're presenting the sermon and all the talking, and I was just sitting there, and the image started coming. And the idea was, I said, okay, this girl I know was this high. This was the same little girl that I got to know. And she's grown up and she's getting married today. And before you know, she'll be having her own children. And at that point, I reflected back to my mom. My mom had 8 children with my dad before they went their separate ways. And just thinking back at my mom, and I said, you know. So after the church, I went straight to the reception garden, and I was there waiting for them to come. And the image kept growing, and this form came out quickly. But at that point, I started having curly hairs coming down. And I said, when I looked at it, I said, no, this is not the hair I want. I want to go back to Port Harcourt. I want to go back to Job Market, where the women go and braid their hair. And that format of hairstyle, I use the black thread to thread each strand before bunching them together. And that became my focus. And of course, she's a phenomenal woman, and she's standing tall while sitting. You know, so that's the strength of Tropical Woman.
So this art piece is actually dedicated to the girl and your mom?
Yes, yes, yes. I paint. I don't pick a particular say this is the one that's going to sell the most. You try that, you lose. And they say, when you go to a gallery, look at the painting from within and without. You know, you don't go to analyze it, right? You want to get your feelings. How do you see this painting and how is it telling you? Are you walking away and the painting is telling you to come back, right? So I'm taking it right to the point of where you want to purchase the painting.
Okay.
You don't just look at it and say, tell me your story. Yeah, you want to know the story, but is it as an aesthetic beauty? Is it affecting you in any way? Right? You have to be emotionally tied to a piece to want it. And what we're doing in Bayelsa here is there are good, excellent artists in Bayelsa.
Yeah, very.
But what is not there is the support. So what we're trying to do is to sensitize people towards hanging paintings in their home. What they do predominantly here is portrait. They want a portrait of you, you commission it, and they paint for you, and it goes on your house. Yes, it's a form of art, but is there anything else? So we're trying to get Bayelsa people that I can take you out of your home by bringing you here. I know you were gravitating to that piece. You said, oh, da 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 da. We went on vacation to Akasa, right? Yeah. This lighthouse is at Akasa. And what does the lighthouse do? It was used for navigation when the ocean liners are coming into Nigeria. They have a light blinking way up here, and for some reason they've done that calculation that the ocean liner will see that light blinking so that they don't come aground. They tell them to stay so many nautical miles away from it and you'll be fine going through to your destination. But if you just have to wiggle your way through, then you're going to get grounded somewhere and you lose everybody or lose the whole ship.
I want to even ask if any artwork has a story behind it, but I think everything has an art story right now.
Yes. Everyone.
What's the art story behind this one?
Okay, let's see that one now. Let's see. All right. What do you see as viewers who were coming to patronize the gallery by viewing, right?
It's like
you see a robot.
Someone coming gone. Like a villain.
Just so abstract, like I don't know.
Okay, all right, let me help you out then. First of all, let me get my handkerchief out of my hand. Okay, we have what looks like, I don't know, frog? No, I don't know. But let me split it up. Let me say this way. That's the head of one person. You see the eye. You see, this is the neck. This is the left arm, and this is the right arm. That's a bra, a torso, legs. So that's the lady.
That's it.
You look at the guy, right? So come over here and cover this up for you. That's his head, his left arm. This whole thing is his right arm, and he's dancing with her.
So is this
and about to have the first kiss, but they never did.
Never.
I swear.
And it's called Prelude to Romance.
Jesus. I swear.
Yeah, this is the original. I also have it in print, in limited edition print. 300 copies.
Yeah, I guess this one.
Yeah, that's good. That's
it's very easy to get.
Yeah. So go to a gallery.
They should go to a gallery.
Yeah, go to a gallery. You know, the whole thing is this. Do you like decorating your home? And art pieces are something that we use to accent the home. If not, these walls will be bare, right? And the reason why I have the other segment is to give people the opportunity to see what an artwork looks like in a living home.
Yeah.
Right? Because most times you go to a gallery, you see the four walls of a gallery and you see the painting and you say, which room am I going to put this if I buy it? But when it's in a setup like that, it gives an idea. Whether on easel or on the wall, it gives you an idea of what you're looking at, or what colors you want to paint your room, or all that stuff. And when I was talking about prints, let me just introduce you into this here. These are all paintings I've done. Look, which painting is that?
The
Rapture. Because of its nature, I have printed a smaller size for the younger generation to be able to afford it. And pardon me, I had not converted all the prices here. I came with Canadian prices. So whatever I tell you in Canadian dollar, you can multiply it by the Naira conversion of it. Yeah, and you get, that's a $25 print. And then you can go and put your frames and all that stuff. Boom, it's hanging on your door. All right, okay. The same thing with bridal affair. Attire is coming into play, and I use that quite a bit in my abstraction. Some people say your people look like dinosaurs with tiny hands, and that's okay. Now this is a reflection of one of our trips to Akasa. When we were going to the lighthouse, we saw these kids coming and going by us, and I chose to paint it, and I'm still working on it. So these are all here. Okay, maybe this is the one I want you guys to see there. Okay. Again, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you see?
Sad.
Mask.
A mask, yes.
Different emotions.
Different emotions, good.
Sad.
Now, let's say, let me lift it up. Okay, I'll bring it up in front vertically. All right?
Yeah.
Come down to the mouth. All right, let's take the mouth for instance. When you look at it, you see two lips. People's mouth, right? They're kissing or pecking, right? This upper lip, lower lip, upper lip, lower lip. So that kiss.
Yeah.
And if you look at it horizontally, follow that mouth line. If you look at it horizontally, right? You see one person's rear end up here and the other person's rear end down there. What is happening? Copulation. Yeah. Okay? Put it simple, this is art class. They're making love. All right? So after making love, this is supposed to be the nose of the mask, right?
Yes.
And I've used that to represent the fallopian tube.
Holy shit, that's it.
It is.
Good and
Yeah.
Now, are you messed up with him? So, right.
Imagine someone. Imagine somebody now comes inside this place and sees this artwork and just break down everything you just said. How would you feel?
Feel good.
Because no, he's not.
Yeah, the story. See, the trigger of this, I had an appendicitis attack. I think 1991 or something. 1999, I believe. Small calabash to pour libation.
Alcohol, right?
Yes, alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, of course, the places that you live in, one of my nephew came here and he said he wanted to paint the wind vane, and that's his job. And he told me about all the sounds, the hee-haw, you know. What the Lord did do? He did all that. Very smart little one.
Is this the original?
That's the original.
Obviously. Maybe that really gel.
The background, don't touch. She forgot. The background is acrylic, but the foreground is oil. Yeah.
I like the idea of this drawing. Like, imagine me drawing my grandmom and her younger self. Like, it's very beautiful. But would I hang my mom's picture, my grandmom's picture in my house? No. So, I actually like that one for some weird reasons. It reminds me of home, Lagos. Like, do you get, like, this outfit reminds me of my mom.
Wow.
When she makes there's this hairstyle they call, not Didi, inner braids. Didi. Oh. And it kind of look like her in a way. So this painting actually cuts me and reminds me of my mom.
Oh,
in Lagos.
thank you. That's a compliment to me. I'll take that.
Yes. From the moment I stepped into the gallery, I knew there was something special. The atmosphere was calm yet alive, filled with creativity, stories in every frame, and a team that welcomed me genuinely. What stood out the most wasn't just the art. Well, it was incredible by the way, but how every piece seems to speak. Some works made me smile, others made me pause and reflect, but all of them reminded me why art is such a powerful mirror of life. The space itself was beautiful. Could tell a lot of intentions went into the layers and lighting. Even how every piece was positioned, it was more than a gallery, it felt like stepping into someone's visual diary. The team made it more special. They weren't just there to guide, they were actually storytellers, passionate about the artist's work. By the time I left, I didn't just feel like a visitor, I felt inspired, and I carried that inspiration home with me and it stayed. Thank you, Mia Gallery, for creating such a beautiful, thoughtful space for people to explore, reflect, and connect. This won't be my last visit. It's strange how a space filled with quiet painting and slow footsteps can leave such a loud echo in your heart. As I walked through these halls today, I didn't just see art, I felt it. The colors told a story I didn't know I needed to hear. The silence gave me room to breathe, to think, to remember things I buried underneath, and now it's time to leave. But there is something bittersweet about it, like saying goodbye to someone who didn't speak but somehow understood you completely. I'm leaving with more than I came with, a lighter mind, a fuller chest, and maybe a deeper appreciation of stillborn. Thank you, Mia Gallery, for being more than just a gallery. You were a reminder, a mirror, for a moment I didn't know I needed. Anyways, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Bye.